right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to El Cafecito. Today, we have with us Dr. Varbelow. She is a professor with the Department of Teacher Education. Dr. Varbelow, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, Zach. And how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being with us and for taking the time out of your day to participate in this fun little segment that we've been doing. How's your day going?
Very good. It's going really well. It's 12:30 and I got a massive chunk of my daily agenda done. So I'm good. I really am. How about you? I mean, this is El Cafecito right now. And after that, are you still completely booked?
I'm not. I'm feeling just about the same way as you. I got most of the big stuff out of the way yesterday evening, and so after this is over, it's Friday, it's the weekend, and
All right.
easy, smooth sailing. So that's good to hear. Well, whenever would you like to get started, and we can dive into these questions?
Let's do it.
All right. So, what time does your alarm go off in the morning?
Yeah, I'm very lucky at my age. Aside from tomorrow, when my alarm will ring at 5:45, I get to sleep until 7:30 every day. And it's like heaven. And I know for you, it must sound like absolutely heavenly. And let me just say, you will get there. You know, eventually the children will be grown. They don't need to be dropped off. So you too will come to a point in your life when you can sleep till the 7:30.
I've been trying to work towards setting it around that time. Do you ever end up snoozing, or is it pretty easy to just get up when it's time to get up?
Yeah, so snoozing and napping and all of these things aren't working for me. So when I hear a noise, I'm up. I mean, my brain is like on fire, and that's probably not a good thing, but no, I mean, it just starts to ring and here I go.
What is your preferred, I guess, your alarm sound? Or
Okay, it's so pretty. My phone does bedtime, and from that I can choose a melody that's called droplets, and they make it really nice. They start so quietly, and then it goes to some crescendo. Well, not for me, since on the first droplet I'm up.
well, I'll have to look for that one, because I get so sick of the
Do you have an iPhone?
foghorns. And yes, I do.
Yeah, okay, so you set it up. You set it up on the heart, on the health app. That's where you set
Okay.
up bedtime. And from there, it's really cool. You don't ever have to fix your alarm. Like you can set different times for different days and no alarm on Sundays or whatever. And there you choose. I like droplets a lot.
Who would you consider your hero?
My hero is hands down and without a doubt my mother. My mother, she's 79 and she's in Berlin. And sadly, because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to go last summer, and in the winter. I am dead set on going this May. And I think everything that I was able to do with my life, that I was able to make of myself, and perhaps the mother I can be for my children, is defined in my mother.
Have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what is it?
No, never. I've never had a nickname. My name is Sonja. And that's actually like, what's a nickname? Like a short form. That's a short form of something. When I grew up, I hated that name because it's short for Sophia. Sophia is a cool name. It means wisdom. But Sonja is the short form of it. So if Nomen as Stomen, then I always draw the short stick when it comes to wisdom. So no, that's enough of a name.
So if you were to pick a nickname for yourself, would it be Sophia?
No, but okay. So when I took citizenship, I had a chance to change my name. And the thought had crossed my mind, but I decided against that because I am just not Sophia, you know, I am Sonja, whether I want to be or not.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite quote from a movie, show, or book?
Where to begin? So there are some quotes that they run through my blood. So one of them is hanging on my refrigerator. It's by Søren Kierkegaard, an existentialist philosopher. And he says, "He who dares loses stability for a while. He who does not dare loses himself." That goes really well with a quote I have in my office on campus. That one is by Emerson. He says, "What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think." And then, of course, there's the one that you get when you get an email from me. That's a quote by Lord Byron. You may have noticed it. It says, "I stood among them, but not of them." And he continues, "In a shroud of thoughts which were not their thoughts and still could, had I not filed my mind, which thus itself subdued." And that filing of the mind, to me, that is education.
Yeah.
You know, I can stand in a shroud of thoughts with other people who might think not even their own thoughts, but I can be aware of it because of education.
Yeah. How, I guess, how did you find these, or like, were they quotes that you were kind of always aware of, or did you come across them just
So the Byron
reading?
quote, I just love poems.
Yeah.
Sometimes I memorize them just because I love them so. And I thought that one was spectacular. So I memorized the poem, and that quote stood out. I love Emerson. And when I was an English teacher in Brownsville, my students and I read this fabulous essay by Emerson. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's, well, you're an English major, Self-Reliance, right? It's the one that starts, "There comes a point in every man's education when he realized that imitation is suicide and envy is ignorance." I love this whole essay. And a part of that is, "What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think." Well, and Kierkegaard, I read a lot of different existentialist philosophers when I was writing my dissertation. I think I would consider myself an existentialist. So
Yeah. Well, those philosophies are, I think I can, just having had the privilege of being in your classes and kind of see how they influence the way that you lead your class and your discussion. So that's really, really cool that you're able to implement that into your career. So,
well, I guess that's what we do as teachers, Zach. A teacher can never be like, there's this whole idea of the neutral teacher. A teacher can never be neutral because a teacher must be a human, first of all.
yeah.
That means sincere, honest, you know, which makes you so vulnerable. I mean, you have no walls, right? Because you're not hiding behind any masks.
Right.
But I think that's the only way we can be real teachers, educators, by communicating ourselves and our point of view. And remember what I always point out: you must be very sure that you never ever take anything as gospel, but always doubt it and question it and ask behind. And should you then arrive at the same conclusion, that's cool, but not straight up. That's not good.
Do you like or dislike surprises? Why or why not?
Man, I hate surprises. I just really absolutely loathe them.
Really?
And I think it's a weakness of mine, because I think it indicates a degree of rigidity, maybe a lack of flexibility. Man, I hate everything about surprises. All I need is like a little bit of time, even if it's like let's say minutes, half an hour, to prepare myself mentally. Then I can do anything. Like sudden visitors, a birthday surprise. God, if so, anybody who knows me would not give me an object for my birthday. I hate objects. Okay, I just don't even want any, because then I feel responsible and all of this nonsense. So yeah, the answer is clearly I hate surprises. Yeah.
My wife is exactly the same way. It's funny because the way, like, I would try and surprise her with things initially, And then it just took her explaining that to me, that she just needs like, she doesn't need a week to wrap her mind or something, just a little bit of time, just that cushion to, I guess, come to terms or accept something. It can be big or little.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that I'm not the only one.
me on the other hand, I'm the opposite, and surprises are the best. I mean the good ones, There's always
Yeah.
bad surprises but okay. So, what song would you sing for karaoke if you had to at this moment?
Wait. I think I'd go all out on The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
It's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna have to move. It's always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. See, but here's the existential thing about it. It ain't about how fast I get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. That goes with my existentialist philosophy. One sentence that you may know from that is, existence precedes essence. So you're the one that gives it the essence, and the doing it, that is the person you become. So with every decision we make, we become more and more the person that made that decision.
And that's also a very insightful answer. Have you sang karaoke before?
No, I'm shy. I would not go on some stage. Maybe if the club is totally empty, but no way, Jose.
What is one of your favorite traditions?
That's a difficult question, because I messed this up. So I'm German, and there are German traditions, let's say for holidays, for foods and stuff like that. But then I moved to America, and I thought I needed to be assimilated and adjust and all of these things. So I'm not big on tradition. If there's one thing that I really, really missed because of the pandemic is midnight, New Year's Eve in Berlin. That is, it's just amazing. I mean, we used to go to the Brandenburg Gate, and now we just go on top of the roof. Berlin, big city, so very tall buildings, and we get to go to the top of the roof, and we have champagne where we toast, the new year, and there's firecrackers. But the point is that the fireworks over Berlin are just raining on you, and they go on and on and on, and it's just magnificent.
That
So,
sounds beautiful.
and last New Year's Eve, I greeted on my driveway in San Angelo, which was nice and quiet, peaceful and calm.
Berlin sounds just like a
What's
completely
really
different
funny about those
experience.
fireworks, Zach? Remember how in class we talked about cultural discontinuity, especially in terms of time? Okay, so Berlin, I picture it's 11:59. Well, it's German time, so it's 23:59, which you understand it's army time. So, and then at 23:59:50, you count down, okay?
Okay.
And at precisely midnight, the sky over Berlin explodes. I mean, they're so punctual,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
here we were standing on the driveway. My daughter came to visit. I was lucky. And it's like, this is nice and quiet. Oh, be quiet. Did you hear that? I thought I heard a firecracker. But it's already 7 minutes past midnight, so it was really funny.
All right. If you could share a meal with any four individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
Fun. Okay. So we are going to absolutely need Schrödinger, so he can finally explain to me the implication of Schrödinger's cat. You're familiar with the experiment. It's a thought experiment. Why is this only a thought experiment? Why is this not really happening? So I need that. I would also invite another theoretical physicist, probably Niels Bohr. Man, I admire Niels Bohr. So Niels Bohr said, how wonderful that we have met with a problem. Now we have hope of making progress. And he also said that every problem carries in itself the solution.
Mm.
And the thing that stands out most from Bohr's is the opposite of a fact is a falsehood, but the opposite of one profound truth might well be another profound truth. And it reminds me of diversity,
Yeah.
reality mind. So I love that. So, okay, so we have two quantum physicists, and then we want to invite Toni Morrison, whose work I absolutely admire.
Okay.
The book that probably resonated the most with me is Paradise. And well, this isn't working out without an existentialist. So I'm going to have to decide whether it's going to be Kierkegaard, Nietzsche, or Sartre. So I'll tell you that when the date approaches.
Okay. Do you think they would all get along?
Isn't that the question? Well, the existentialist, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Okay, the physicist, hands down. So I would say that the most interesting 8.5 hours of my life I spent on a flight from Houston to Berlin, where I was seated next to a physical scientist. He was a theoretical physicist, and we just got to talking. And man, I mean, these people that are so brilliant, they talk because they understand that their view is one, and every view that they can glimpse shines light on theirs, So, man, that was an interesting conversation. So, yeah, I think they would do well. Well, and Toni Morrison for sure. Not sure about the existentialist. Well, I'm going to have to really revisit those three and see who has the most. Well, see, Kierkegaard is interesting because he is a religious existentialist. That's almost an oxymoron.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I really need to revisit that list. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What is your proudest accomplishment?
That's easy. My proudest accomplishment, without a doubt, are my two children. My daughter's 25. She's in San Antonio. My son is 30, and he is in Houston.
Okay. Great answer. How are they doing?
Fine, fine. My daughter got vaccinated today. They're doing fine.
Good.
She's still studying. She's going to graduate with a bachelor's from ASU in security intelligence studies, and is going to start her master's in January, hopefully. And my son is going to school in Houston. He had stopped for a while. He's mainly working as a waiter, and he's like taking courses on the side so that he can just finish off his bachelor's in biology.
Okay. Chipping away at it. I'm about at the same age and still working away at the bachelor's.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how fast you get there or what's waiting on the other side, right? It's the climb that makes us who we are.
Absolutely. What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
In retrospect, I think it would be, so there are a couple. So, but let me just say one, would be to move from Berlin to the United States. So the wall fell in 89. Remember, I grew up in East Berlin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So America was all the bad guys, everything bad. And remember, my history is written by the victor, so mine was skewed. Wasn't everybody's, but still, mine was extra skewed. And so in 93, almost in a dare, I applied for an exchange program between the Senate of Berlin and the state of Texas. And I don't know why they had, I mean, selection was huge, like only a handful of people made it. And I mean, I did it as a dare, almost like a joke, And so I ended up in Brownsville, and that was pretty brave of me, because as an East German, America exists. Like as an American, Mars exists, but it's not like you go there and then you go there, So I think I was pretty brave.
Was that were you scared coming out? Like, were you ready to be here? Was it scary, like even once you arrived, like just based off your previous notions? And
So I didn't come here scared. I came here mighty intimidated.
yeah,
Okay, mighty intimidated. For example, when you grow up in East Germany, the motto of your life is like it rings in my ears: humble yourself, child. Okay, this doesn't work in America because Americans, is another cultural disconnect. They just don't take this approach. I'm not saying that Americans are not humble. What I'm saying is that sometimes in certain situations, humility is misinterpreted as a lack of ability, you know?
yeah.
So I was intimidated, but I wasn't really scared. Got mighty scared during the first year then because everything was different, but yeah, we did it.
What has, like, I guess my next just personal question, like having grown up in East Germany and then having returned, like how has the change, like since I guess the Berlin Wall fell? And
So it was not as rocky as you may expect because I was lucky. I did not only grew up in East Germany, but in East Berlin. So next to East Berlin, there was
okay,
West Berlin, right? And because of that, we got, like, of course, nobody could know, and we had to do it like covertly, West German radio stations. We even got two West German TV channels if you held the TV just so and hit it a few times. So we were not completely clueless. And then the wall fell on November 9th, 1989. And I came in August 93. So I did have some time to adjust.
yeah, wow. Well, that's just to think that you're a part of that just period of history is, it's really cool.
Well, aren't we all, Zach? Aren't you also part of history? I mean, you okay. So when I was 18, I studied for 6 months in Moscow because I speak Russian. And I had to memorize a poem. I love poems. And that poem has run through my veins ever since. And I'm 54 now. It says, "Людей неинтересных в мире нет." There are no uninteresting people in life. Every human is like a planet of its own. Everybody is special and unique, singular, I should say, not special, singular and unique. And if a planet dies, with it dies an entire world that was forever unknown to others. And in the poem, it says, "Первый поцелуй, первый бой," his first kiss, his first fight, his first snow, all of that he takes with him. So it's beautiful. And
Yeah.
it runs through my veins. There are no uninteresting people.
What is your best piece of advice that has been handed down to you, and from who?
Well, that would be my mother, right? And my mother, okay, I'll tell you a quick story. All right. So my mother, after many trials and tribulations, trying to find a religion that would resonate with her, she at one point gave up and she said, so I go with atheism at the moment. So she's an atheist. And at the family tables, the elderly relatives, they would always talk in German about lieber Gott, about the dear God, okay? And sometimes I would ask my mom, well, maybe the dear God can help with that. And she said, well, I wouldn't bank on that, you know? All right, so in third grade, going to socialist school, the teacher tells us about Yuri Gagarin, the first cosmonaut, that first man in space, right? And oh my God, get this, Zach, he flew everywhere. He flew all around the earth and even behind the moon. And you know what? Finally, the answer to all the questions: God is not there. I was elated. So I couldn't wait to go home. I was a latchkey kid. I got home at 4:30. My mother would come home at 5:30. And I thought, oh my God, she's going to be so happy. Finally, the question is answered. And to top it all off, she's right. Hallelujah. The next family dinner. So I tell her, Mom, you're never going to believe it. God doesn't exist. They've checked behind the moon even. Oh, and my mom, she got huge reds in her face. She sat down, she slumped and she looked at me. I mean, she glared at me and she said, "How can you be so stupid? Have I not taught you anything? How can you just believe what they are telling you without doubting it? Did you ever ask yourself, who said that? Why did they say that? And how does that go with everything else that you know?" So that was the advice, right? To
Yeah.
question things, but to question them. So Paracelsus says is the dose that makes the poison. Don't question them ad nauseum. Question them scientifically, because if you question them for that sake, you end up with Pizzagate and the Kraken and QAnon and all of that. But
Mm.
question them and check for yourself. And that's what I'm telling you. You
Yeah.
cannot just believe what I'm saying. Question it. If you arrive at the same conclusion, cool. If not, you must come to your own conclusion. So yeah, I was shocked, right? Needless to say. And let me tell you, Zach, this was the bedrock experience of my education. Every educational experience that followed this one was interpreted based on that. And I think this is what helped me to think critically while going through East German education.
Mm. And how old were you at the time?
Well, I was in third grade, so that would
Okay.
make me like 9.
Wow. The critical moment. It's
Yeah, the moment of doubt. And I mean, what did I mean, the implications of that? Here I am,
yeah.
9 years old. Oh my God. So what, that wasn't right? What does that mean? Is everything they teach me in school a lie? I mean, I really had to reflect on that and think, and I had to reposition myself. So this is a very important part of education. That's why you have to be yourself, and the neutral teacher doesn't exist. A good educator is able to cause emotional dissonance,
Mm.
disharmony, because only when you're thrown out of the hamster wheel and get to collect yourself and reposition yourself, you have something to step on.
What do you wish that you had more time for?
Oh, that would probably be just that, like more time for research and writing up my ideas, but not in an alone kind of way or in an online kind of way. I wished I had time to travel and meet up with people that I want to talk with. Like, these conferences are so great, you do the presentations and you listen to them, but then you can talk with these people afterward. And so I really wished I had time for that, and,
Yeah.
and opportunity. That's not happening right now. Maybe someday.
What is the first thing you do when you get home from a long trip?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yes, I have a cool little device that foams milk. So I make the perfect latte.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I come home and it's like, cool. Fire up the coffee maker, fire up the foamer, and here we go. Wherever I come from, no matter how long the trip was, I will not arrive here without milk. I stop wherever I have a chance.
There's something so satisfying about making your own cup too, as opposed to going somewhere and picking it up. It's therapeutic.
Agreed.
What is the most satisfying smell?
Coffee,
Coffee.
especially on a cold morning. Yeah, when
Yeah,
the
and
house smells like coffee. That makes me feel so safe and at peace, like utter serenity.
I can agree with that. What aspect of being an educator has been the most rewarding for you?
I am so lucky. Um, so as you know, I believe that if there were a panacea that could hold but the possibility of a cure for all evil, or a secret, to make the world better for people, it would be education. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And as a teacher, I had an influence on that as a classroom teacher. But as you will, right? And that's why we're talking about what is the purpose of school, where's this train supposed to be headed. But now I'm in the position where I get to work with a seed that grows that tree, because I get to teach my future colleagues. and to see them go through the process of deschooling, and slowly, ever so slowly, take off their old set of lenses and are open to all of these other sets of lenses. That's when I think, yeah, today I haven't lived in vain.
Yeah. Okay, so what would your 10-year-old self react to to where you are now?
That girl would be in such disbelief that she would probably think that something got mixed up here and this is not she. She would be, yeah, she would not believe it. 10 was a very difficult age for me. Yeah, so that's that. She would not believe that I could be so happy, that I could be so useful,
Yeah.
that I could live with such purpose. She would not believe it.
Do you remember, like, I guess thinking back to being that age, like where you would have seen yourself ending up, like as far as a career or what you would have been doing?
I didn't think about Korea. I would have thought I'd end up, I don't know, maybe like a feather in the wind.
Yeah.
Not a feather, not a feather. A feather in the wind you see, like in Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
No, just a leaf in the wind, maybe one of many, drifting just there until it falls and then becomes part of the circle of life.
So that being said, what is your definition of success?
To be useful for something, to be, well, for something, for one's communities, the communities one chooses to be part of, right? So right now I'm part of the community of my family that consists of 4. I'm a part of the community of ASU, the smaller community of my students, the community of San Angelo, the community of researchers, to be useful in some way, to enable somebody to be the more of him or her.
I love that definition, as opposed to, I think, what our current culture and society defines success as. You hit success once you've made this much money, or you've gotten this promotion, and it's all just meaningless. And
Yeah.
but with like seeking purpose and something that continues to, like, it's like the goal that keeps almost resetting itself in a sense.
Actually, there's research that says just what you said. There are 5 pillars of happiness, and one of them is to feel a useful part of one's community. And the antithesis of that is when one focuses only on the self, then no matter what you have made possible for yourself, let's say financially, or with whatever letters you can stack there next to your last name,
Yeah.
it doesn't make you happy. Yeah.
That's some truth to be mindful of, for sure, because it's easy just to get wrapped up in what successful means by the standards of those around us, and to get sucked into that.
Very nice. All you must do is what concerns you, Zach, not what the people think. I like it.
Moving on, what are your hobbies and how did you get into them?
I cook. I cook myself Dumb and Dumber. I find it so relaxing because this is my gateway to the zone. Okay, so
Okay.
when I cook, you won't hear me listening to music. I drink no wine. I'm in the zone. And I got into that. I think it started actually when I was working on my dissertation, and I postponed writing. Writing, as you know, as an English teacher, is like cutting a vein. And I had so much in me. I was afraid of letting go. Oh my gosh, it's going to pour out Niagara Falls. But I was full of all of this creativity. So I started that, and then something cool happened. When I finished with a PhD, I gave myself the present that I had been wanting since I was 18, still in East Berlin. I went to India. I was really lucky. My best friends, they are Indian, and they have family there. So I basically traveled in family. It was amazing. But the thing is that, oh my Lord, sweet Jesus. I mean, there's just nothing that's not absolutely mind-blowingly delicious. And so I started to switch gears. And I think now I'm a pretty decent cook. I cook mainly Indian, some Thai, you know, some Italian, German, of course.
Yep.
There is one that I think I've gotten pretty good. I have never heard anything less than like really spectacular feedback, is chicken tikka masala. I think
Okay.
I got that one down.
Do you make it fairly often, or do you
I love it. I
special
make it all the
occasions?
time. Yes.
Really? Did you choose your profession, or did your profession choose you?
Well, isn't that an interesting question? So, hands down the ladder. I did not choose my profession. Remember, third grade for Eisenschmidt, Yuri Gagarin. No, I knew that teachers would, whether they wanted to or not, contribute to the demagoguery. And I thought, the hell with that, not happening. So I figured, of all the jobs in the world, that's the one I'm not going to get. So then I go and I wanted to become an anthropologist and continue studying languages, English and French. And they told me, you can't do that. You want to study languages? You have to sign up to be a teacher. So I went home to my mother and I said, yeah, so change of plans, not going to university after all. They want me to be a teacher. And once again, my mother says, the hell you are? You're going to school and you're going to learn everything you can possibly learn, because in life, they take away everything from you if you're not lucky. They take away your stuff. They take away your name. They take away your dignity. The only thing that they can't ever take is what you know. So back I went. And so I got to study not two capitalist languages. Oh my God, no. It had to be paired with one socialist language, which was fine because I think of all the languages I ever dabbled in, Russian is the most beautiful one. So I went for Russian and English, and it was super awesome. I did my bachelor's and master's together, and for the first 4 years, I didn't have to go in the classroom, 3.5. So, and then came the classroom thing, and I thought, here we go, this is really going to be bad. And so I taught 5th graders. And at that moment, I experienced that thing completely off guard. It caught me, that I described to you earlier as the best part of my profession. These 5th graders looked at me with so much trust, you know, and I thought, and I told them to open their book at a page, and oh my God, they opened their book at a page. And I thought, holy cow, this is dangerous. Okay, holy cow, there's potential. You know, you can just tell them a different page number. If I don't do it, someone else is gonna step in. Maybe I can. I'm not a brave person, okay? But hey, maybe I can just, you know, prevent the worst. So I figured I'm gonna finish that. And then, Zach, the best thing ever. I was to graduate in spring of 1990, all right?
Mhm.
Zach, on November the 9th in 1989, the wall fell. And I never, ever had to teach a single day in East Germany. Can you imagine? That was, man, I mean, the stars were aligned. Yes. Oh, it was glorious.
See, I have no words for even the story like that.
So that's my answer for that question. My profession chose me.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing.
I know, such fortune.
So considering the challenges of just the pandemic that we've been dealing with, what for you has been the most difficult aspect?
Um, to know my students the way I need to know them. So of course the hardest semester was spring 2020, right? When all of a sudden we went online. Um, when you're in a classroom, I don't know if you notice that, Zach, when we are in a classroom and you talk with students, a fourth dimension opens and you become aware of, let's say, their physiological domain, right? You know how they are at this moment. You know how what you're saying right now resonates, or whether it resonates, right? You can immediately change course and stuff like that. That was not possible. So this was a huge challenge. Then of course I knew they were all like scared. Oh my God, it's at the end of the world, and I didn't know how does one react. I made a little video message to my students, and so after that, it was better because we got to select whether we wanted to go back to the classroom. And for our two courses, for the methods courses, 43, 21, 22, I said, okay, like, I'm going to have to go back to the classroom. This cannot be taught through a screen. I can hope that I'm not going to get sick. I'll take every precaution possible, but man, I mean, please don't let me get sick, but I got to do this. And so it was okay. It was
Yeah,
okay.
I completely agree with you. As it's all the difference in the world actually being there and being able to interact and hear the others, just other students, and different perspectives. And it's hard to for me personally to get into I guess the proper mindset of a class in my living room, like looking at a computer screen. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that's works on both ends.
Yeah. You're missing a lot of the space between.
Yeah.
The, the subconscious things that the emergence that happens when two humans share a time and a space.
So what is one thing you're glad you tried but will never do again? On a lighter note.
So I am glad I tried it. And actually, I'm not 100% certain on whether I'm not going to do it again. So the coolest weekend of my life happened, I think, right before the pandemic. That must have been October 2019. I got tickets for Othello in Houston, and I picked up my daughter in San Antonio. We met my son and his girlfriend there. So on Friday night, we watched the most spectacular performance of Othello. But here comes the thing: on Saturday morning, we went skydiving.
Okay.
Oh my God, Zach. Jesus Christ. It is so different from how you expected it. I mean, you see when they fall out of the plane, how their skin's like, I
Yeah.
thought, okay, the wind is gonna be strong, and was strong, but not on your skin. It does that to your bones. So it was
Oh.
amazing. So yeah, I fell. I think it was oh God, I don't even know anymore. It was awesome and it was phenomenal. And so first my son jumped and I'm like, oh, where's Tom? And next, then we were the last three, and next was Sydney. And before you jump, they actually ask you, are you sure? Are you ready? And so let me tell you, when you see first one and then your second child fall out of an airplane at 6,000 feet, nothing holds you back in that plane.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, let's get out of here. Where's Sydney? Bah, here comes the wind. Yes, the first times that so my son already not anymore. He has like a license, so he can jump freely. He did jump by himself.
Okay.
But Sydney and I, for us, it was the first time. So yes, we had a guide. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I would have forgotten to pull the string and open the chute. Like they told us, okay, at 4,000, or I don't know what it was. Yeah, I think at 4,000, you need to pull the string. So what's your thingy that they strapped on you? And of course I didn't. So he knew that I wasn't going to. So at 4.5, he shoves that thing and okay, string, where's the string? I know where the string is. Bam. Yeah. So good thing I didn't do it alone, because I would have gone down faster than the others.
That sounds like a great experience to
Oh man, it's
share with
awesome.
your
You should
kids.
do it. You and your wife, you should totally do it.
I would love to. I think there's a group around here. I don't know not too far from here, at least, that I was looking into trying to schedule something.
Well, don't surprise her with it though, Zach.
No, I'll ask her first. But to share that with your children, that's
Oh my
sounds
God.
like a
It was
blast.
there was just the three of us. The girlfriend was too scared. So it was the three of us. It was so awesome. I mean, Othello being followed by skydiving, my
Yeah.
children and I, it was the three of us. It was so good. Such a glorious weekend.
Yeah. Go ahead and ask. So what is the luckiest thing that has happened to you?
That one with the wall, maybe, right? Oh, but you know what's another really lucky thing? I think it's so lucky that in times where it's like really difficult for academics to get jobs, that I got this job at ASU. I
Yeah.
think that's also really lucky.
Do you enjoy San Angelo?
Yeah. So I'm done living in big cities.
Yeah.
When I come back, I'm glad that I don't have to stand in traffic jams and all of that. I do enjoy the small community of it. I have the best neighbor in the world. I don't know any of my other neighbors, but the lady across the street, I mean, yeah, she's just remarkable. I love my little HEB, I go to the
Yeah.
small one. This guy at the pharmacy, knows me like he even knows what I told him last time and checks in on this and that. Wow. I mean, so yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a different tone from anywhere I lived before. And it's interesting. I'm pretty happy here.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear. It has its I think people that are passing through that are or typically not from here are a little harsher on it. And I lived here until I was 11 or 12 before I moved away, and then I just returned about 2 years ago. But only since like returning have I begun to appreciate it.
That's another beautiful quote. T.S. Eliot. And at the end of my journeys, I arrive where I started and know the place for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to just be taken out. Like sometimes I think, oh my God, this pandemic, and I couldn't travel to Berlin, and Berlin. And oh my God, it's so hot here. Last summer we had a day of 150 degrees, and oh my God, I'm melting, blah, yada, yada. So, but I know that when I come back from Berlin, I will be glad to come home.
Between yes and no, which do you say more in life?
I say more yes, because like I don't know if you can empathize with that, but saying no is challenging.
Absolutely.
It's harder to say no, right? It's easier to say yes and say, oh my God, now what have I done? I think I have to say yes more. And I think I answer, I say yes more, and I'm not necessarily proud of it,
Yeah. It does kind of get you in your pride, because then it feels like, do I not have any backbone, or why can't I just, that's how it feels for me, at least.
And also it changes the way you do the thing, right? So when you want to give and do, you want to do freely from your heart.
Yeah.
But when you're like, why am I always the one? Why must I do this? Well, then you're not giving it, freely, and the whole thing is messed up, and you mess it up for someone else, perhaps.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm working on that though. So I'm aware of it. I knew the answer for this question right away, and I'm working on it.
Yeah. When do you feel the most confident?
I don't know, when I'm in my element. My element is the classroom, maybe in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in the classroom, I'm the most confident because I'm with like-minded people. You're my colleagues. And here we go, trying to figure the world out for ourselves on a way a little bit together. Reminds me of another cool quote by Nietzsche, who's on the potential guest list. Remember, he said, I've always been so perplexed when people ask me, what's the way? He says, because this is my way. What's yours? For the way, that does not exist. So, but in a classroom, we each try to figure out our way.
Yeah. Do you think people are bound to destiny, or do we create it ourselves?
I'm an existentialist, but question answered. No destiny, we create it. Existence just precedes essence. We create essence.
These are just you questions. What fictional character do you identify the most with?
Have you ever read Flowers for Algernon?
I have not.
The character I identify most with is Charlie Gordon. I am Charlie. It's my secret undercover FBI name from my private email accounts. I'm Charlie. Flowers for Algernon is the story. Algernon is a mouse, and the scientists develop a very cool experiment. They can make that mouse really, really smart, and they do it, and it works. And that is one hell of a smart mouse. And then there's Charlie Gordon, who has an IQ of 68 and is not smart. And he works at some company where he's loved by everybody, and he just brings tools, he can't really work a lot. And so the experimenters suggest they do it with him, and he thinks back and forth, and he does it because then he gets to be smart, and it works. He gets really smart. And as he gets smarter and smarter and smarter, he becomes more and more alone. There comes a point where he is smarter than everybody, and he cannot really enjoy conversations anymore because there's these people, they can just really not teach him anything anymore. At the height of his intelligence at the experiment, Algernon dies. So he's trying to use his intelligence to understand the flaw in the experiment so that he can not die and remain smart. And doesn't work. Charlie Gordon's health declines, his intelligence declines to where it was before.
Yeah.
So he's now again at 68 with one big difference. He has an awareness of the fact that the friends by whom he is loved at work are not really loving. They use him for entertainment. They just make fun of him. At the end, he decided, I'm leaving. I'm going to New York. When I'm gone, please put flowers for Algernon on the grave. And that's just so heartbreaking because who are these flowers for? Are they for the loss of innocence? It gives rise to the question, is it better to not have known? I love this. So, and I think we're all Charlie Gordon. You're young and vivacious and energetic. I'm already 54, so I'm already approaching the down part of the hill. So I wonder, how long will my intellectual capacities last? My physical strength, how long? Look at my mom. We are all Charlie Gordon, and we witness our own decline. And so just put flowers for Algernon, the loss of innocence.
Yeah.
You should read that book. It's a tiny little book. It's a really great book to read with students, Zach. When you teach high school, Flowers for Algernon.
I'm writing that down right now so that I can take note of that.
Actually, I got that for my neighbor the other day on Kindle. It was $4.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, I could download that right after this, or I might just I'm gonna have to order it, and it's physical copies are.
But now I made a spoiler alert.
Well, that's okay. You didn't hit all the in-betweens.
That's right.
That's just part of the journey.
Yeah.
What makes you feel at peace?
When I am completely in the moment, when I don't think about the past and the future. Like right now, neither one of us has received any bad news, right? From people that we love. This moment is a really good moment. So I'm completely at peace when I am in when I can be just in the now.
Yeah. What is your least favorite place in the world?
Yeah, I don't know because I really don't know, but I'm telling you, it would be a place where there are a lot of people and they're all talking fiddle fuddle words like, will it rain today? Like unimportant elevator conversations. And there would be no windows and it would be very cold and lots of artificial light. I think that would be the place. Thank God I hadn't to go there yet.
Sounds like a post office. I think that's what I'm imagining.
But this is temporary. I imagine lots of people like, oh my God, imagine like a giant dinner party.
Oh, okay. Making just like small talk that isn't meaningful.
Right.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable. And I feel like something about small talk, just like, it makes me sick. And since like you have to participate in it. And I think that's what gets me, is feeling that you have to kind of like how you talked about, like the other day when you mentioned how we all say, how are you? But nobody really.
No one ever listens to the answer. Remember, hi there. Fine, and you?
Okay. When was the last time you felt nervous?
On Wednesday. On Wednesday, I gave a presentation. We have this thing at our College of Education, Lunch and Learn, and I had volunteered for a presentation, actually on the same topic, the epistemological crisis and how professors of education fit into that, right? And so I gave that presentation to the college, and before that presentation, I was mighty nervous. And it occurred to me that because of this pandemic, it had been nearly 2 years since I had presented anything, you know? So it starts off pretty bad, right? Because in the beginning, okay, like for a few seconds, but when I present, I mean, I choose the topic, you know, so that's my
Yeah.
jam. So that's my thing. That's fish to water. And when I get into it, then I forget everything. And I'm just
Yeah.
trying really hard, like in the classroom, to make sure that I get a point across, and then it
Right.
gets better. It's just in the beginning, I'm like tongue-tied.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it went well though. It worked out.
Yes, I think it went really well, yeah.
What about ASU do you enjoy the most?
Um, so I have a family of four, right? And I'm not really missing anything. I mean, I'm not big on family, and ASU just scoops you up and takes you in, and then you're like you're okay, you know, like I don't know, they take care of you. Um, it's the climate at the school. Like I said, I worked at UT Brownsville before. Well, that is not the case. So I don't know how it's done. And when President May left, I was worried that we'd go to where I was before. Uh, but at that point, obviously, I hadn't understood what does it, you know? It doesn't stand and fall with one person. It's all of us, you know?
Yeah.
So I love this. I think at ASU, you have the most caring professors like everywhere. You don't have just one that stands out, you know? This is just how professors are here. This is just how staff is. You call someone, oh, okay, so no, but I know who can help you with this. And oh my God, IT. I mean, that's
Yeah.
second to none. All right. So I love ASU.
Yeah. Was it I guess coming from a different school, were you expecting it to be different in that aspect?
I was wholly prepared for a much bigger department, for it to be less personal. Yeah. Yeah. Like a business kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. How do you treat yourself after a long day?
Coffee.
Coffee. At the end of a day.
Yes, at the end of the day. I drink latte. And well, if it's like really, really late and I really need
Yeah.
to go to sleep soon because somebody's alarm gonna ring at 5:45, maybe a glass of red wine like Malbec, perhaps,
Okay.
or Cabernet, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. And now we arrive to the final question. What is your advice for handling stress?
So I don't think that you are the one that needs to hear this from me. I think that your stress coping mechanisms are remarkable. You know, you stay cool like a cucumber. My advice would be to look over the whole plate, sort stuff in whichever way suits you more. I start with the little things. So then what remains on the plate is a big, fat, scary thing, but I have nothing else to worry about. So, and after the sorting is done, be in the moment. Just right now. Right now, everything is good. Nobody's tearing, nobody's pulling, nobody's asking you anything. This moment is really, really good, you know?
Yeah. I think that's fantastic advice and something that I always have to be reminded of. I think you can if you allow it, there's just so much outside pressure from our world and from everything going on. And I think I tend to forget that there is peace in the moment that you can step into. And I have this problem personally where I don't know why I started doing this and when, but like looking back into a hard time in my life, and when I'm in like things are going well, and realizing that it's not going to last forever, just the same as the bad doesn't, the good doesn't. And that's like something that it's a toxic mindset.
About the past, right?
Yeah.
Look, but don't stare. Look
Yeah.
look at it, own it, understand it. It is how we came to be who we are today, and we're okay. We are okay human beings.
Yeah.
But understand that it's completely, utterly, and 100% out of your control. It's in the history books right next to the Civil War.
Yeah.
So don't waste your energy. That's what I'm really trying. I've gotten really good at that. Okay. I'm not wasting an ounce of energy to on regrets, for example. Yesterday I did well, turns out I was practicing to say no a couple of weeks ago, and then I did it, and it was the wrong moment. I should have said yes. So yes, I learned that yesterday, how bad actually it was. So, but that's okay. So I beat myself up then, but
Yeah.
really quick, it was done. The no had been said. The event had happened yesterday again. I was, man. And then I thought, okay, it's out of my control. I might as well try to rearrange the planets. And I was done with it. So my lesson
Yeah.
is next time. So why was that the wrong moment? I'm still not going to give up on my goal. I will continue to practice saying no, but I will develop a feel for when it is a better moment. But yeah, look into the past, but don't stare.
Well, Dr. Varbelow, that wraps up the interview. But thank you for being here today. And everybody, thank you for tuning in and watching. And we will see you next time.